we are discussing the drugs acting on the uterus. There are two types of the drugs. We discuss them one by one. There are two types of the drugs. First are the uterine stimulant or oxytocics, and the others are the uterine relaxants or tocolytics. First of all, we discuss the uterine stimulants or oxytocics. We will classify them as oxytocin, ergot derivatives including ergometrine, methyl, ergometrine, prostaglandins including prostaglandin E2, prostaglandin 2 alpha, 15 methyl, prostaglandin 2 alpha, and misoprostol. Miscellaneous including quinine and alcohol. We will start our discussion with oxytocin. It is released from the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei of the hypothalamus along with antidiuretic hormone, and then it is stored in the posterior pituitary and released on the stimuli such as parturition, suckling, and intercourse. Regarding its mechanism of action, oxytocin binds to specific receptor on the uterus. These are the T3 receptors, and they activate the G protein coupled receptor. As you know, G protein GQ type activate IP3 calcium and increase prostaglandin, which in turn increases the contraction of pregnant uterus. Pharmacological effects of oxytocin on uterus include stimulation and contraction of pregnant uterus. In the breast, it causes milk ejection, and in CVS, it causes vasodilation and transient hypotension, which reflexly causes tachycardia and flushing. On kidney, oxytocin in high doses produces ADH-like action. It decreases urine output and sodium and water retention. Its uses include the induction of labor, uterine inertia condition in which uterus is unable to expel the fetus, postpartum hemorrhage. Adverse effects include hyperstimulation. Hyperstimulation of the uterus can lead to uterine rupture, fetal hypoxia, or fetal death. In case of hyperstimulation, the fetus is deprived of oxygen and it can lead to fetal death. Contraindications include cardiac diseases, history of previous C-section, as in patient with previous history of 1 or 2 C-section. Uterine stimulation can lead to rupture of the scar, malpresentation of the fetus, and fetal distress. Both conditions can lead to fetal demise or rupture of the uterus. It is not effective orally. It is given as IV infusion. Synthetic oxytocin, which is known as centosinon, it is deprived of vasopressin-like activity. Cyanometrine, centosinon plus ergometrine, ये जो है IV दिया जाता है. Oxytocin, buccal tab and nasal spray rarely used. Next we have the ergot derivatives. Ergometrine, methyl ergometrine. Ergometrine is an alkaloid. It is obtained from a fungus known as Claviceps purpurea. And methyl ergometrine is a semi-synthetic derivative obtained from lysergic acid. It has a similar pharmacological action, but it is more potent than ergometrine. It acts directly on the uterus and stimulates the uterine contraction, force, frequency, and duration of contraction. In GRT, it increases the contraction, increases the peristaltic movement. CVS, in therapeutic doses, it can increase the blood pressure by vasoconstriction. It is given parenterally or orally and metabolized in the liver and excreted in the urine. Its therapeutic use include prevention and treatment of postpartum hemorrhage, but it is not used for induction of labor as it can lead to uterine rupture. After cesarean section, to prevent the uterine atony and control bleeding. Adverse effects including nausea, vomiting, increased blood pressure in hypertensive patient causing the vasoconstriction of the arteries. Prolonged use may cause gangrene of the finger and toes because it causes the vascular spasm or vasoconstriction of the peripheral arteries. Contraindication of ergometrine include hypertension and other cardiac diseases, preeclampsia and eclampsia, which is a condition in which the blood pressure is already raised. Rh negative mother. Prostaglandins. Prostaglandins are products of long-chain fatty acid and are widely distributed in the body. The main prostaglandins are prostaglandin E2, prostaglandin F2 alpha, and its pharmacological action on uterus causes the contraction of the muscles, blood vessels, GIT, and bronchioles. Prostaglandin F2 alpha and low concentration of prostaglandin E contract the pregnant uterus, and it can be used for the induction of labor. Cervical priming or softening or thinning of the cervix is achieved in the labor with prostaglandin E2. Postpartum hemorrhage can be controlled with the use of these prostaglandins. Adverse effects are somewhat similar to ergometrin, including the nausea, vomiting, bronchial spasm, tachycardia, increased mean arterial pressure. It is contraindicated in patients with bronchial asthma, uterine scar, or previous history of cesarean sections, hepatic. These are some preparations and their uses of prostaglandins, including the dinoproston, prostaglandin E2, dinoprost, prostaglandin F2 alpha, carboprost, 15-methyl prostaglandin F2 alpha, and yamiprost. These are all used for the induction of the labor, except the yamiprost, which is used for cervical ripening in pregnancy. Uterine relaxants or tocolytics, drugs that inhibit the uterine contractions. These are used to delay the labor, so the physician can have enough time to initiate glucocorticoid therapy for fetal lung maturation, or to transfer the woman in the labor to proper facilities. It can be used for the suppression of premature labor, or its succession rate are more if the cervical dilation is less than 4 cm. There are some contraindications. The use of the tocolytics include placenta previa, placenta abruption, intrauterine infection, and rupture of amniotic membranes. Drugs that are classified as tocolytics include beta-2 adrenergic receptor agonist, magnesium sulfate, calcium channel blockers, oxytocin receptor antagonist, prostaglandin synthesis inhibitor, nitric oxide, and halogen. Beta-adrenergic agonists include isoxapurin, orsiprenalin, salbutamol, terbutaline, and ritodrine. These activate beta-2 receptors on the smooth muscles, including the uterus, blood vessels. It is given by IV administration in acute phase, and for prophylaxis it is given orally. Adverse effects include tachycardia and palpitation due to the activation of beta receptors on the heart, which can lead to cardiac failure. Pulmonary edema can be due to the release of renin from kidney. Hyperinsulinemia for the release of insulin from the pancreas with the activation of beta-2 receptors, leading to hypoglycemia in the neonates. It can lead to hypokalemia due to increased potassium movement into the cells. So there are some contraindication with the use of beta-2 receptor agonist, including the diabetic patient or patient with pregnancy-induced diabetes, cardiac diseases, and patient on steroids. Patient on beta blockers and digitalis should not use the beta-2 agonist. It can lead to pulmonary edema, so patients who are administered beta-2 agonist should have careful monitoring of intake and output. Or electrolyte and CVP monitoring should be done, as it can lead to tachyarrhythmias and cardiac failure. Next we have magnesium sulfate. Magnesium sulfate acts by competitive inhibition of calcium ions at the motor end plates and cell membrane, reducing the calcium influx. It has direct depressant action on the uterine smooth muscle. It is given by IV infusion, 4 to 6 gram over 15 to 20 minutes, then a titrated infusion of 1 to 2 gram per hour. It is used to control the convulsions, blood pressure, and toxemia of pregnancy. Side effects include flushing, headache, respiratory depression, muscle weakness. Its side effect regarding muscle weakness can lead to interaction with non-depolarizing neuromuscular blockers, and their action may be prolonged. Cardiac arrhythmias, fetus can have hypotonia. Contraindication includes myasthenia gravis. It can aggravate the condition, and renal diseases. Routinely in our settings we use calcium channel blockers because it has less side effects. It include nifedipine and nicardipine from dihydropyridine groups. It blocks the influx of calcium ion, thereby reducing the intracellular calcium, reducing the tone of myometrium, and oppose the contraction. It is usually given orally. Side effects include tachycardia, hypotension, headache, flushing, nausea, peripheral edema, and it can reduce the placental perfusion, leading to fetal hypoxia. Prostaglandin synthesis inhibitors include NSAIDs like indomethacin, ibuprofen, aspirin, panamic acid, aspirin. These act by inhibiting the prostaglandin synthesis, but they are not routinely used due to their side effects profile, including headache, dizziness, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, hematemesis, and melena. And on fetal, it can cause oligohydramnios and premature closure of ductus arteriosus. In patient with thrombocytopenia, it can lead to bleeding and platelet dysfunction. So, predisposed patients should not use prostaglandin synthesis inhibitors. Other drugs we have progesterone. It has relaxant effect on the uterus and used in the threatened abortion. Next we have atosiban, which is oxytocin receptor antagonist. It competitively blocks the oxytocin receptor. It is very expensive and not routinely used. It is given by IV infusion. Side effects include nausea, dyspnea, and chest pain, and it is contraindicated in patients with renal and hepatic diseases. It is not routinely used in our settings. Next we have the halothane. It is an anesthetic. It is very effective for uterine relaxant and has been used as anesthetic for external and internal version. External and internal versions are done in male presenting fetus. Uh, Externally, it is rotated to rotated for normal position or internally. It is also used for manual removal of retained placenta. Nitric oxide donors or nitroglycerin patches. The maternal side effect profile include hypotension and methemoglobinemia, uh, but these are fewer, and it was a safe alternative to ritrodin with equal efficacy.